live from the YouTubes. We are back with another news update. Today's news, guys, is absolutely insane. I've already had some people say, Austin, is this clickbait? Listen, I thought it was at first. I saw the news. I said, is this actually happening? Is Jamie Foxx returning to the role of Electro? Well, according to a lot of people, we're talking major trade outlets, a couple that we're going to take a look at here in just a second with the article. The Hollywood Reporter is the one that we're going to be talking about. They are reporting that Jamie Foxx is not playing a new version of Electro. Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro to not Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 3, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe Spider-Man 3. This is absolute crazy news, something that I don't think anyone was expecting. We are going to talk about it, kind of talk about, does this set up for possibly a live-action Spider-Verse? So many different possibilities, but I want to say thank you to everyone who's joining us live in the chat room. As you can see, the article is pulled up right in front of us. If you guys have questions, we're going to talk questions. What does this mean for the MCU? Is this a live-action Spider-Verse? If you want to go the super chat route, we're going to talk about that towards the end. I'll be answering questions, or I'll be taking a look at the stream in general here in just a bit. But first, let's kind of go through this and see what this report has to say. So, Spider-Man 3. Jamie Foxx returning as Electro. And this is the Hollywood Reporter, folks. This isn't some of the other outlets that I'm not going to mention that sometimes get things wrong. They usually, 95% of the time, are hitting the mark unless somebody just hacked into their network and they're giving us this report. So the next Spider-Man movie is getting a major jolt. Jamie Foxx, who played the classic Spidey villain Electro in Andrew Garfield, starring Amazing Spider-Man 2, is in final talks to reprise the role for the latest Spider-Man installment, starring Tom Holland and being made by Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures. There's the key. We'll get back to it here in just a second. John Watts is reprising the role as the director. The film is on track for November 5th, 2021. Most of the supporting cast from previous movies is returning. Now, they have been asked, Marvel, about filming in general, whether the date's going to stick. Probably Jamie Foxx, if I had to guess. They have no comment. Story details are being kept under the mask, but having Fox return is a stunner as it shows further melding of the previous Spider-Man movies into the current Holland series. We know, and this is a huge point here, we know that J.K. Simmons returned in the previous film. He's not reprising his role from the Tom Holland movies. He's not coming back as J. Jonah Jameson. He's playing a new version, right? Well, at this point, we don't know if he's playing a new version because now we have Jamie Foxx as Electro from that universe either coming to this universe, or Sony's just going to do what Fox used to do with the X-Men movies and say, they won't even remember what movie he was in. Let's just put him in this film. But I don't think that's the route they're going to go. I think this sets the stage possibly for some sort of multiverse inclusion, some sort, whether this is a cameo or a big role in this movie. I doubt it's a cameo at this point. Something is happening that we don't know about right now. So they mentioned J.K. Simmons. And they mentioned Tobey Maguire in this, and another rumor that's been floating around, and I don't really look at this and believe it all the way, but at this point, could Tobey Maguire return in some form? I mean, we know we have Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and that's going to open up the door, but it looks like that's not the one opening up the door. It looks like the Spider-Man movie is opening the door, and probably WandaVision before that. So could WandaVision set the stages for some of these Spider-Man characters to return? It says Fox played Electro all the way back in 2014's Spider-Man 2, and it just kind of goes on to say, despite the performance of Amazing Spider-Man 2, Fox remains one of the most in-demand players in Hollywood, basically saying, people didn't love the character of Electro in that movie, but is that Jamie Foxx's performance, or is that just the fact that the script that he had to read from was not very good? So a lot of things there that could play into it. But yeah, this is not fake news. I mean, I honestly, when I got the notification from Twitter, I said, no, that's not real. And then I checked the date, not April 1st. unless this, unless everyone got hacked, this is actual news, and it has to be the most shocking. It has to be the most shocking news I've seen about the MCU in quite some time. So I am going to go through the chat room, see what you guys are having to say. We already have some minds blown in the chat. We have some people saying, bring back Andrew Garfield. And listen, guys, at this point, there is a possibility. There is a possibility that Andrew Garfield could come back in some way. There's a possibility that Tobey Maguire could come back. This opens up every single door, and I thought J.K. Simmons returning opened up that door, but we all just assumed that it's a new version of J. Jonah Jameson. Maybe that's not the case. We don't know. All right, so I'm going to keep looking, seeing what you guys have to say. Some people say, what is going on? I have no clue, but this is a stunner, man. This is an absolute stunner when it comes to news. Let's see, we have this is good right here. I don't have time to expand, but the fact that Spidey 3 comes after WandaVision and DS2 should be everything you need to know to figure out what's going on. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I think this is going to open up the door for the multiverse, which means we're not only seeing villains return, we're probably going to see heroes return. Multiverse, baby. We want Tobey Maguire. And the question here is, Austin, would you want to see Venom show up? Absolutely. I would want to see Venom show up, but I think that is way more likely. I mean, the odds of Venom showing up compared to Electro showing up in Spider-Man 3, I would have said, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's way more likely that Venom shows up. There's no way Electro? But yeah, Electro's the villain in Spider-Man 3. He may not be the villain, but he will be a villain. Now, if we go through this article just one more time, they don't really give us any hardcore details here. They don't say what kind of role he will be in. They don't say how often he's going to pop up in and out of the movie. And they don't say who will be joining him. But there was a report, gosh, this was months and months ago, where they said essentially J. Jonah Jameson will not be the only familiar character to show up. Now, we just kind of automatically assumed that they meant they're going to recast some of these main players. But we didn't think they were going to actually bring some of them back, especially a character like Electro. Let's leave Rhino out of this. Let's just do a new Rhino. But someone like Electro, someone like, well, heck, even you look at Spider-Man 3, Sandman's still floating around there somewhere. So I mean, there are so many characters, guys. So let's keep looking at what you guys are saying. We have bring back Garfield. Let's see. We have Kraven the Hunter and Electro. And yeah, the rumor for quite some time was the fact that Kraven the Hunter would be the main villain. But now they're rumoring a Kraven the Hunter movie in the Sonyverse. So I don't know if that means we won't be seeing him in Spider-Man 3, but it doesn't look like he'll be the main player, at least if he's getting his own movie from the director of, gosh, what's the Netflix film that came out last year? The one with Ben Affleck and Oscar Isaac. It was a pretty good movie, so I'm excited for Kraven the Hunter. Let's see. Let's keep going here, guys. What if James Franco shows up? Yeah, that's the one I look at. I'm like, he's dead, so probably not. So they're going for multiple villains arc. They don't learn, do they? And I understand that completely. But at least they're trying something different with the multiverse. And that has not been confirmed. The multiverse has not been confirmed. But from what I'm seeing from all of these outlets, from only speculation, we can kind of assume that the multiverse is on its way, a live action Spider-Verse. And they've already announced, Spider-Woman. They've already announced multiple villainous projects. We have Morbius. We have Venom. I think we're going to see all of these things kind of meld and mesh together. And eventually, I have a feeling we will be seeing a live action, maybe not the same movie, but a live action version of the Spider-Verse that we got in animated form. And I think that all spawns from WandaVision. WandaVision is going to open up those doors. Doctor Strange is going to continue to open up those doors. You have director Sam Raimi directing Doctor Strange 2, who directed the original Spider-Man trilogy. I'm just saying. I ain't throwing out crazy theories. I'm just saying Sam Raimi, the director of Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man movies, is directing a multiverse film. Come on, guys. Come on. To me, that's too obvious in this news only. Yeah, is it a reliable source? Yeah, The Hollywood Reporter. When you go to sources for this news, you normally go to Deadline, you go to The Hollywood Reporter. I'm not for sure. Let me see if Deadline has tweeted it out. But, oh gosh, I'm playing a little echo here. The Hollywood Reporter, we have discussing film We have multiple comic book outlets kind of bringing us, kind of repeating what these articles have to say. Oh my gosh, guys. We have Geeks Vibes Nation. We have pretty much everyone I can see. I haven't found, Jeremy Conrad, who says it looks like WandaVision could have lasting effects across Phase 4 as Jamie Foxx's Electro is heading into the MCU. Hollywood Reporter, which is what we're looking at. Don't see deadline yet, but Rotten Tomatoes. So yeah, guys, this is as legit can get. Don't want to pull that up via computer screen, but yeah, that is Rotten Tomatoes tweeting it at now. I mean, this is it, guys. This is crazy. Now, my question is, what? I just can't believe this. I'm geeking out live with the rest of y'all. My question is, will he redeem himself from Amazing Spider-Man 2? Because whether you like his performance or not, overall, the consensus is that it's not good. And whether it's his fault, you know, the script could have played a big factor into that. I have a feeling that they don't bring in Jamie Foxx just to give him a bad script and bad character development. I have a feeling you're bringing in Jamie Foxx to give him a redemption arc from that second movie. So I think this means good things for the character of Electro. Really good things. And just seeing all of your comments fly in. Let's put some of these on here. I always thought Andrew Garfield was underrated as Spider-Man. Listen, he's my least favorite of the live-action Spider-Man, but I really enjoyed Andrew Garfield. And I'm excited at the fact that we could get him back in a live-action Into the Spider-Verse movie. If you're just now tuning in, guys, if you guys enjoy this kind of live news update, I appreciate you guys showing up too. If you want to leave this vid a thumbs up, we'll do things like this when news breaks. But yeah, if you're just now tuning in, Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro in Spider-Man 3. Not Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 3. Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3. So are you confused yet? Because I am. Yeah, absolutely shocked. Daniel, thank you so much for the super chat. If you guys want a question asked, we're kind of at the part of the video where I'm going to be just talking about this news, answering questions, seeing what you guys have to say in the chat. So be sure to get in that chat room. And if you want to super chat, we'll be sure to get those questions answered. Let's see. Will the cap in his teeth be fixed again? I don't know what they're going to do, but I have a feeling they're probably going to change up at least the look of Electro himself. What about the Green Goblin? What do you think about that, Austin? Should he show up? Listen, I've always thought if we were getting a Green Goblin in Tom Holland's universe, I still have a feeling we'll get a new version of the Green Goblin, okay? But we could always see that version. I mean, Dane DeHaan is the name of the actor. At this point, anything is possible. I don't think we'll see the Green Goblin that we know. Yeah, and we're getting more news now. Discussing Film says Spider-Man 3 will begin filming this fall in Atlanta. And let's look at this cast and see if Jamie Foxx will be a part of that filming. No, we just have Zendaya, Marissa Tomei, Jacob, and Tony Revolori. Okay, so we have the same cast, including Jamie Foxx. Going to try to keep you guys updated as it comes in. I didn't like Jamie Foxx in the role, but he's a great actor, so maybe the character can be good with better direction. I agree. I wasn't a huge fan of Jamie Foxx as Electro, but I do think under the right direction and with the right story, I think he can work really well. Hashtag bring back Rhino. Hashtag bring back Rhino. I love it. Spider-Verse. Yeah, that's just something we've kind of been hitting on all throughout the video. I think it's very possible. We're getting a live action Spider-Verse down the road, years and years, but with WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness, two things that I never thought would bring this Jamie Foxx back as Electro. Yeah, guys, just so many things. And if you want to read the article, you can rewind back a little bit. We read through it a while ago. Let's see. Morbius. I forgot about that one. Yeah, we still have Morbius coming out next year along with Venom. I hope they use Donald Glover as Prowler. Yeah, that's definitely Prowler was a big part of Into the Spider-Verse. And there's definitely seeds planted in the Tom Holland movies setting up for Miles Morales. So that's always possible. I just hope I don't want to lose the Spider-Man in our live action world right now because that's kind of what that story is. So I hope we get a different interpretation. Maybe Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield and a Tom Holland team up. I think that would be super fun. Austin, I didn't care about you, but I would have been way more hype if Jamie Foxx was coming back for Spider-Verse 2. And coming back in live action just seems messy. I think what they're doing here is I think they are bringing the Spider-Verse to live action. I think that's kind of been the goal all along. Yeah, right now it does. I agree with you. It does seem messy. And I think it also seems just a tiny bit confusing. What does this mean? What does this mean? We're getting other characters? I think that's part of the speculation. Some people saying, I wish Charlie Cox was returning at Daredevil. I mean, at this point, guys, anything is possible. And Kevin Garnett said it in the NBA Finals. Anything is possible. So who knows? Let's see. Really excited to see Michael Mando's Scorpion, especially the suit. Yeah, we often forget. I mean, we had Michael Keaton as Vulture. We have Morbius now. We have Venom. We have Electro returning. We often forget that Scorpion was a character that was set up in that first film and is a character that is returning. So could he be the main villain? And again, guys, if you're just tuning in, the big news is Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro in Spider-Man 3. Just some absolutely huge news that I don't think anyone expected, and something that just continues to shock everyone. Let me throw that back on screen so you guys can see it, just in case you don't believe me, because you know what, at this point, I don't even believe me. Source, a couple people asking for the source. The Hollywood Reporter is the source. The big guns, the place for news. So yeah, Hollywood Reporter, as well as many, many, many other. And I'm not, a channel that brings you this. I didn't get. Jamie Foxx didn't call me and say, hey, man, I'm returning as Electro. No. I found this on Twitter via multiple outlets. Jeremy Conrad, Deadline. I believe Deadline officially reported it. Hollywood Reporter discussing film. Everybody. I mean, this is it. Jamie Foxx is back. Now, some people will ask, does Jamie Foxx, and here's, you know what, Keith? It's a great point. Lizard is still around. Now, a lot of people will ask, is Jamie Foxx, playing a new version of Electro? Are they just kind of bringing back the old cast? This says Jamie Foxx is returning. That's a key word there. That's a word that I think a lot of people are going to overlook and say, well, he can't be coming back as the same one. Returning as Electro. And one comment that I see in the live chat is, if they got Alfred Molina back, listen, I know Alfred Molina didn't make it through that movie, but my favorite Spider-Man villain of all time was Alfred Molina as Doc Ock. And I think we can all agree that train fight is one of the greatest fights of all time. So imagine a live-action Spider-Verse with something with something like that, with maybe a Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. Oh my goodness. Marshall Boy with the super chat. Appreciate the super chat, my friend. Austin, my girlfriend, is subscribed to your channel. Please take the hat off. Oh, sorry. UK. My wife works for UK Hospital. I have to. But I would want to see Sandman again. Listen, Sandman is still alive. So let's go through the villains that are still alive. So we have Sandman from the first batch of movies. I believe he's the only one. From the second batch, we have Lizard and Electro. I think we still have Dane DeHaan, right? We still have Dane DeHaan as Green Goblin. So there's a handful of villains that you can pull from. I don't think they're going to bring anyone back from the dead, but there are villains there, and Electro seems to be the one that they were at least most interested in, and the one that I think could use the redemption, because, again, I didn't love him in that film, but he did provide for some epic moments, and the Sinister Six, which this is the perfect opportunity to set up for the Sinister Six. Now, with some of these characters, we have Scorpion being set up. We have Lizards out there, but Scorpion, Electro, Vulture. I'm sure we'll bring in Kraven the Hunter at some point. Maybe Morbius and Venom. That's a weird Sinister Six. It's not comic book accurate, but you never know which way they're going to go. So didn't Electro die? How will he return, you think? That is a good question, right? So, as far as I remember, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. So, spoilers for Amazing Spider-Man 2. I believe he blew up, right? Didn't he blow up because they did the surge and he blew up? Unless you see a body, and we may have seen a body, I can't remember. Unless you see a body, no one's really dead. Alfred Molina's Doc Ock, you saw the body. Norman Osborn, stabbed. We saw the body with a couple of them, but Electro, I believe, again, trying to remember, is a character that we didn't see a body for. So in comic books, anytime you don't see and I forgot about Rhino. I don't want Rhino back. I don't want Rhino back. But I think there's a good chance of him maybe surviving, finding his way through the multiverse. I believe with his power set, using the electricity, it could be easily explained that he finds his way through the multiverse, ends up in our world. Oh boy, Spider-Man again, but this time it's Tom Holland Spider-Man. I'm so mind blown right now. I'm so mind blown. Austin, do you think Mysterio is still alive? You know, at first I didn't. At first I thought, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal, he's a one-off kind of guy. He's the kind of character. He played the kind of character that all that happened there kind of set up for the fact that he's dead. And his ultimate trick was to convince the world or tell the world that Tom Holland is Spider-Man. But at this point, just seeing his relationship with Holland, seeing how much Gyllenhaal enjoyed playing that character, hearing word that they are maybe not done with Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, and the fact that he is the ultimate trickster in that universe, I don't think he's dead at this point. Because you know what? I thought Electro was dead 6 years ago. I thought Electro was dead 6 years ago, and he's not. He's coming back. So it's hard to tell who's dead and who's not in these universes now, since there's multiple. But I do think it's really cool that we are getting Electro back, and we could be seeing that team up. And of course, Mysterio, if there is a Sinister Six, he's got to be a part of it, right? Ash says, I think he's going to warp into this reality. Interesting. He will go after Spider-Man. Then when he realizes it's not the same person, they will team up in the end. Oh, that's interesting. That's a very fascinating way to look at it. Again, you know, we know he has a stigma against Spider-Man, but it's not the Spider-Man that he's facing in this movie. It's Tom Holland's Spider-Man. So yes, he hates Peter Parker, but he hates Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. Oh, my mind right now, y'all. My mind is just like, it's like Electro just shocking me. So again, this sets up the fact that Andrew Garfield could return. It's not impossible that Andrew Garfield returns. Same with Tobey Maguire. Again, Sam Raimi is directing Multiverse of Madness. Sam Raimi directed Spider-Man 1 through 3. And we're not even getting a Sam Raimi villain returning. We're getting an Andrew Garfield villain returning. So I think all options are now on the table for what we're going to see. But right now, I think we need to focus on the villains. And the villain that they're utilizing and choosing to bring back is Electro. So it's definitely possible. I mean, can you guys confirm for me, did Electro blow up at the end of that movie? I believe he did. So it's absolutely possible he could warp into this reality. And we have WandaVision, and who knows what's going to be going on in Scarlet Witch's head. She could be seeing into a different dimension. We saw in that trailer that maybe she brought someone out of her mind into reality. Maybe it's kind of the same case here, where she brings over villains from the other universe. Now, it's going to be difficult to kind of make convince us of that, right? Because how does she see into this dimension? How are they going to explain to us in that movie that Electro got there? If he's, you know, maybe he comes over via WandaVision. It's going to be hard to tie all of that in, and your general audience is going to be extremely confused. But I like that they're kind of going the comic book route of, okay, we're going to take something from over here, take something from over there. As long as we get a good explanation, doesn't have to be flawless. As long as we get a good explanation, I'm okay with it. Just do not mess up Jamie Foxx's Electro again. Don't do it. Yeah, that's tough. So yeah, he got overcharged and went boom. So yeah, I think there's, you know, we all assumed he was dead, but clearly he's not. Clearly he's coming back, unless they go back in time or something, which is always possible. So this question, and we did mention this earlier, if you're just now tuning in, do we know if it's the same Electro or simply the same actor as the same character? And here's where I say it's the same actor playing the same character. Spider-Man 3, Jamie Foxx returning as Electro. If it was Jamie Foxx cast as Electro or recast as Electro, this says returning. To me, that says he's returning as the same character. Now, all of this could be void if they just worded it weird. But I've been seeing a lot of people on the Twitters saying WandaVision is opening this up. Meaning the multiverse is opening this up. And if the multiverse opens up Jamie Foxx as Electro, that means it's going to open up everything that we've seen on the big screen thus far, including Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Okay? So it may not be in the next 2 or 3 years, but I have a strong feeling that we're going to be seeing many more characters from all of these universes. But it's great thoughts and a great comment nonetheless. Mike with the super chat. Mike, thank you so much. are Netflix's Marvel characters free to use in the MCU yet? I really, really want to see Daughters of Dragonstar. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. So I don't know if it is yet, but I believe it's opening up over the next few months. I never in a million years pictured Jamie Foxx returning as Electro. Anything is possible. Yesterday, I would have said, I just don't think the Netflix characters are coming back. But we all know Charlie Cox wants to come back, okay? He's said that multiple times. He loves that character. We love him as that character. I would do anything to see Charlie Cox come back. So I have a feeling that that is not out of the realm of possibility for sure. The Amazing Webhead, love that, by the way. My guess is either Doctor Strange messes up the multiverse to bring people back into the MCU world. Yes, yes, yes. Or it's a doppelganger like J.K. Simmons' Jameson. I mean, again, it is possible with the way that they phrased this. It could absolutely be a doppelganger. It could absolutely be a doppelganger. But I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back as the same character. I really do. And in terms of what you said with Doctor Strange, yeah, I mean, that's multiverse of madness. We all knew it was going to be madness. This is madness. Jamie Foxx's Electro is the first step of that madness. And when I say first step, I mean this is probably just the first we're going to see of it. I have a feeling a lot more crazier things are going to be happening. And I have a feeling, and this is not news, this is just me speculating, so don't take my word on it. I have a feeling we're going to see 2 live-action Spider-Man in the same movie. And I have a feeling you're more likely going to get Tobey Maguire because of Sam Raimi, but do not put it past them to bring back Andrew Garfield. You know why? Because we have Jamie Foxx as Electro. Brad says, mate, the MCU is getting crazy, and I love it. Yeah, I think DC did a lot of multiverse madness in their announcements a couple of weeks ago with Michael Keaton as Batman, with Ben Affleck coming back, being in the same movie. And now Marvel, I mean, they've clearly been planning this, bringing in Sam Raimi, but now they're starting to make these announcements. So they've been doing the same thing. It's crazy how both studios at the same time have been planning these multiverse movies, and it seems like they just didn't know about it because Multiverse of Madness was announced pretty much right before we got all of this talk with Michael Keaton returning as Batman and the Flash. So it's going to be super cool. We have 2022 will be the year of multiverses. Doctor Strange 2 and Flashpoint. We could see, genuinely, guys, we could see a Michael Keaton as Batman, a Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man in 2022. I just got chills. I just legitimately got chills thinking about that fact. We could see both of those characters return. After seeing this, I don't put it past them at all. Can Wanda just bring back Pietro too? Thanks. Hey, listen. We saw the report months and months and months back that Evan Peters, who played Quicksilver in Fox's X-Men, not Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was Quicksilver in the MCU, Evan Peters was seen on set of WandaVision. Now, was he just visiting someone? It's a possibility. Was he just coming over for a cup of tea? Maybe. But to me, if Evan Peters is on a WandaVision set, and maybe he's just playing a new character, it is very possible. But that is weird. That Quicksilver was on set of WandaVision. So I don't know if we're ever going to see our version of Quicksilver again. Maybe in WandaVision's head. We're going to be seeing a lot of that in WandaVision. But that, to me, was a little bit strange. I would think it was super cool. Could Michael Keaton return as Vulture? Yeah, absolutely. He was already in the Morbius trailer. I have a good feeling Michael Keaton's going to be a main part of this if they do set up a Sinister Six. Let's see. Keep going, guys. Let's see. He could also be playing a different character, though. If you're referring to Jamie Foxx as Electro, again, there is that possibility that he's playing a new Electro. I don't think that's a possibility at this point because the way that is phrased, returning as Electro, I think he's returning as Electro. I think it's exactly what the article says, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Let's see. I'd love to see Raimi have Bruce Campbell appear as Ash in Multiverse of Madness, Evil Dead, not Marvel, but it is Raimi. You will see, I have a good feeling you're going to see Bruce Campbell as some sort of character in that movie because he always cameos in Sam Raimi's films. But I don't know if the Ash is that character, but who knows? Maybe he plays a villain in this new universe. Anything is possible. Let's see. Keep going here, guys. I'm going to keep Superhero Blueberry Gaming says, are they going to find a way to connect every single Marvel movie in history? It does seem like that. I don't think they will do every single movie, but I think they're clearly, Sony kind of going back to its roots with its previous 2 interpretations of Spider-Man, bringing back Electro, using the multiverse to allow, and here's the thing. I think after the animated Spider-Verse, Sony saw the reception, and said, you know what? Maybe we need to apply this to real life. And I have a feeling Kevin Feige was not right behind him when he said, you know what? I want a multiverse of madness with Doctor Strange. So you have those 2 ideas kind of connecting between 2 studios. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Tobey Maguire's back. I feel like Raimi and Amazing Trilogy doesn't have the proper end it deserves. I think both of them, the final films in those franchises, were not received well by fans, somewhat by critics. I guess Spider-Man 3 has a refresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but I think at the end of the day, we look back on it, we're like, it was just disappointing compared to Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and even Amazing Spider-Man 1, which I thought was pretty good. So I think this is a good way to redeem those franchises, redeem Tobey Maguire, redeem Andrew Garfield, redeem Jamie Foxx, and tie it all together. And I think fans are going to love that. Absolutely love that. Man, I'm so excited. I agree with this sentiment. Jamie Foxx felt like Jim Carrey before he became the Riddler, really unappealing character. Yeah, and I think this is their chance to kind of rectify that. I think this is their chance to say, hey, maybe we messed up. Maybe we're going to do it a little bit better here and make him a more terrifying, interesting villain. I can't wait to see the fight scenes with Tom Holland Spider-Man. I can't wait to see the fight scenes because they were cool in Amazing Spider-Man 2, but maybe they're going to make them even cooler now. So very, very cool. Even if he's playing a new version of Electro, it would still say returning because technically it's the same character. Yeah, I think you don't bring back Jamie Foxx if he's playing a new version of Electro. I just think, honestly, it's stupid if you're doing that. I think that's stupid. It is a good point because it's still technically, it would say returning if Jamie Foxx is playing, but I just don't think you bring him back. And with WandaVision and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, no doubt in my mind, he's playing the same Electro. Otherwise, why would you confuse fans like that? I think that's kind of ridiculous, but not what you're saying is ridiculous because you're right. It would, I guess, still maybe say returning, but I think that idea from the studio would just, it rubbed me the wrong way. It's like, just cast somebody else. Why are you going to confuse people? Just cast somebody else. So there's no doubt in my mind, 0% chance he's playing a new version of Electro for sure. Toby and Tom better be pointing at each other. Yeah, I agree. We need the pointing meme. We need the pointing Spider-Man meme. If we don't get that, I'm going to be upset. Let's see. I'm going to take a couple more chats here, guys. If you have any super chats, you want to make sure I get a question answered, send those my way. Otherwise, we're going to wrap this up. I don't want to go on too long just from this news story. Do you think they'll also use Deadpool 3 since it's being made by Marvel? I mean, maybe. I don't know if Marvel's willing to go that route just because he's such an R-rated character. But I do think that somehow he's going to be connected or tied in, whether it's to the new X-Men and be self-aware that it's a new X-Men, or whether it's to this universe. So that's interesting for sure. That's a good thing. There's so many things that we could be thinking about right now. Deadpool 3 is just one of them. J.K. Simmons is playing J. Jonah Jameson again. Yeah, but J.K. Simmons is different because everyone wanted J.K. Simmons back. No one wanted Jamie Foxx back. Now, again, maybe this is redemption. Maybe... And let's look at it that way for just a second. Let's say they're bringing Jamie Foxx back as Electro when no one was really asking for him back as Electro, as a new version of Electro. Okay, if that's the case, and that could be very well be the case, I just don't like that. I just think it's dumb. J.K. Simmons, it's different because J.K. Simmons, everyone wanted him back. Everyone and their grandmother wanted them back. And that after credit scene was proof to me that people freaked out. Every time I watched that movie in a theater, people lost their minds. With Jamie Foxx's Electro, but now that we have him as the same Electro, this is a redemption for me. This is Jamie Foxx kind of redeeming himself as this character, being brought in, I would assume, through the multiverse. Again, guys, this is all just assumption. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. We're just speculating, but it's fun. It's fun to speculate. It's fun to talk about this. It's fun that this is now a discussion because of this news, the news that Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro. And Jeremy Conrad is a great person to look at on Twitter. He's a guy that is constantly and consistently bringing really good news. And let me just pull this up one more time and make sure I have exactly what he said. So we have discussing film here, there. Untitled Spider-Man 3 is starting to film. Here we go. I just want to bring up what he said. So yeah, he basically says WandaVision is opening up the door for all of this to happen. This is all coming about through the multiverse. Yeah, and then this Geeks 5 Nation is going all in. They're saying we are getting a live-action Spider-Verse. Now, that is not factual, okay? But they're going all in. So I think everybody's kind of on the same page here, is that Spider-Verse, the Ultron drones, or the multiverse. Yeah, Jeremy Conrad is going crazy over here on Twitter, guys. He's going crazy. He's saying it looks like WandaVision, lasting effects, multiverse. Oh, my goodness, guys, this is madness. This is absolute madness. Let me make sure I didn't miss a super chat really quick. On our final note here, he is returning. Oh, here we go. Ash, sorry about that. I almost missed you. Ash says, I want Thomas Jane's Punisher to return. I like Thomas Jane as Punisher. I really did. I want our boy Netflix's Punisher to return. That's what I want, because that version of Punisher is fantastic to me. Love that Punisher. Love that Daredevil. And I'm not going to say the doors are open for the Netflix characters to return, but this, wow, absolutely crazy, guys. Let me look through the chat a couple more times. Yeah, this is shocking. Everybody just kind of on the same page here. So yeah, Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Venom 2. It is very, very plausible at this point in time. So thank you guys so much for joining me in today's video. If you like these live updates and you enjoyed this video here today, if you want to leave it a thumbs up button, that would help out this channel. And it tells me that you want more breaking news videos like this. This was so much fun having you guys in the chat room, leaving you, because this is call and response. I can't do this without you all. I clearly can't have a good conversation with myself, even though I do it fairly often. Appreciate it again, guys. Thank you guys so much for being as shocked as I am today. We were able to experience this crazy news together. So one more time, Jamie Foxx is returning as Electro. We don't have confirmation if he's the same Electro or not. I am going all in on assuming he's the same Electro because of the phrasing and because it's just, to me, it's not a character that you cast the same exact actor for. Okay, so for me, this opens up the doors for a lot of crazy things. You guys are truly the best. I'm going to play you guys out with your comments on screen. And again, come back Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're doing an Ask Me Anything. We can talk more about this news. We're going to talk so many other things. Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, live to talk with you guys about all movies, all TV shows. And I think we're going to go through my top 10 movies of the year so far. So that's going to be super fun. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Continue to stay tuned. Maybe more news to come today. Appreciate it big time. And I'll play you guys out with the comments right now. You can't have my baby Yoda.